Well, greetings, people of the internet. Unky Joe here, Unky Joe's Playhouse. Today, man, I just love me some Proxmox. So, of course, I'm talking about Proxmox, but on the Super Epic server that we built this many months ago. Now, that Super Epic server, one of the problems with it was it was never complete. It That was an expensive server to build as for me as far as servers go. Normally I pick one up off the internet for a couple of $100 and maybe add some RAM to it or upgrade the CPUs and move on down the highway. This was close to, maybe $1,500 worth of parts and labor and cases and everything included. So it's a little more than I'm used to paying. So being the king of cheap, I always do things at a budget. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. In this case, it was. And through the continued generosity of one subscriber in particular, Metacurb, I now have a couple of NVMe drives that I can put into that Super Epic. One thing that Epic server has never had is a lot of internal storage. I have the 1 terabyte SSD that we installed Proxmox on, and about 800 gigabytes of that set aside for virtual machines. But I needed some storage in that thing. Well, fortunately, Sakura convinced me to buy a little PCI card that would allow you to take a 16x PCI Express slot, and through the magic of bifurcation, you could split that up into, I don't know how it works, but it splits it up 4 ways, and so you can put 4 NVMe drives in there. And he convinced me to buy this little card, even though I had no drives for it, and I'm glad he did. The other problem I ran into is I had to move some stuff around in slots, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. And as they say, showing is better than telling. So I've decided to show you and tell you what exactly it is I'm going to do with the Super Epic. Let's see how bad I can screw things up this time. So, the work on this Super Epic is never done, evidently. So, Sakura brought up a point, a very valid point, that this GTX, what is it, a 1650? Well, we'll find out when we pull it out of there, is not getting what I would call the best airflow. And he said I would be better suited to move this card, which is the M40, into this slot and then move that over to that slot. But in addition to that, I need to add this little 4 NVMe RAID card adapter, HyperX 16 Lite. And to that, I'm going to add 2 of these 2 terabyte Crucial drives. Thank you, Metacurb, for your generous donation. Metacurb donated this so that we can get some fast local storage into this Epic and start, instead of, right now I'm running a bunch of VMs, but I'm running them off an NFS share. And it sure would be nice if they ran locally and had a little more speed. So I'm going to attempt to install this little chingamadero. Looks like I've got to put a bracket on it and everything else, but yeah, I'll try to get some footage of that, but no guarantees. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove the video cards and swap them around and make sure I don't create any other trouble. I'm going to boot into Proxmox. Once I do that, check and make sure everything is working okay. And then, as you can see, well, we get some light. So, if you look down in here, you'll see we have another slot. And we should, I've got a 10 gig networking card here. So, hopefully I'll be able to get this thing into that slot down there. And it'll work. So, here's wishing me luck. Alright, so we got the cards moved around. You can see the M40 is now in the primary slot, the 1650 is in this slot, and then we should still have room to get our card in there, I'm hoping. Although I don't know how much, we'll see. Alright, the power is on in the back. Let's go ahead and flip the power on in the front. Now I have my theory as to this is not going to just work, but that it is going to have moved some device IDs around. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it boot up into Proxmox, and I'm going to log in here on the local console, and then I am going to try to ping something on my LAN. Okay, so the IPMI is coming up, so that's a good sign. You know, it would help a great deal if I wasn't such a moron. And there we go. So at least it did not change the IP address. Alright, so we've got the two crucials installed onto this card, and I got room for two more on the back. And then you see the instructions are clearly written in Chinese. Now, I'm thinking this card needs to have a motherboard and a BIOS that supports bifurcation. So, I don't know if I need to go into the BIOS or do anything other than to simply plug this card into this slot right here. Now, what slot is that? That is a CPU slot 1 PCIe 3 X8. So, supposedly, I should be able to split this slot up. That says slot 1. What is this slot then? I don't know, but I'm sure I have a, if you can read down there, it says slot 1, CPU slot 1, PCIe 8X. So, I'm just going to plug it in and hope for the best. So yeah, wow, I thank God I got this motherboard right, because I had to move everything around, as you will see here. My original plan for the cards just did not work out. And the reason is because when I put this new card in with the two NVMe drives, I put it into a slot that does not support, it's not a 16X slot. So I couldn't bifurcate it properly to see both NVMe drives that were in there. So I had to do some juggling of the slots and read the motherboard where it said slot 4 is a PCI Express 3 slot with 16X. So I was able to bifurcate that 4x4x4x4 in the BIOS, and now it sees the drives. So if I come down here to disks, you can see I've already set them up. NVMe 0 N1 and NVMe 2 N1 are both set up now to store files for my Proxmox. One of them I set up as ZFS, and the other one I just set up as a directory. So this is the ZFS one, and this is the directory one. So the directory one has a little more flexibility than the ZFS volume does, and you can see right here it's ZFS, and this one is directory. So we'll see how they do. We'll see how they perform. I mean, I've got plenty of RAM. Shouldn't be an issue. Now, I did have to go out and change the 1660 under the hardware. I needed to change this because this card once again moved to this ID of 6. So, and you know, I did have to give up a PCI, not PCI, but USB 3 front ports on my server. That's okay. I don't use them. But once I move the card, the video card over the 1660 to the end slot, it blocked that plug from plugging in. So hopefully now this will work. I'm going to boot up some virtual machines. I'm going to start moving some of the storage over for these VMs over to the NVMe and see if they boot. So why don't we go ahead and do that now? So LabNet local, you'll see here the hard drive is on the Super Epyc, and what I want that to be on is I want that to be on one of the local NVMe drives. So it should be as simple as coming here to the drive or the disk and going to move storage. And let's put it on NVMe 2-1, which is a ZFS pool. And then I'm going to go ahead and tell it to, I'm not going to delete the source. I don't want to risk losing that. We can always come back and delete the source shortly or in a minute or two. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it move disk. And we'll see how long this takes. Hopefully not long. This is fast NVMe storage, and we are going over a 10 gig network connection. And yeah, it should all be well. We'll see. All right, so I'm getting an indication that the task was successful. So we'll come back here. And now we should see an unused disk, and that is fine. We'll come back and clean that up later. The other disk I want to move is the EFI disk, so I'm going to move that as well. And we'll put that over here on the ZFS pool. I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm not going to delete the source on that either. This should just like take a second, and it should be over there. Okay, so now if all has worked well, you can see it's moved it over to the NVMe 2-1. And let's go in and power the unit on. See if it'll boot off that NVMe. It appears it's trying to boot. That's a good sign. Means we haven't lost our virtual machine image. That's good. It's always a good thing. We had rain this morning, but it's turned out to be a beautiful day, and we're getting lots of solar, lots of sun today. That's good to keep my batteries charged. All right, well, while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and do a little experiment on this one. I'm going to go and move the hard drive on this one. And we're going to move it over to the NVMe 2. Again, I'm not going to delete the source, and I'm going to move the disk. And we'll let that run, and we'll come back to this one and see if it's come up yet. Yeah, it's applying computer settings. Now, this could have been in the middle of an update too when I shut it down last time, so it's probably not a good indication of how fast this is going to be booting up, because I am kind of slamming these disks right now while I'm doing, you know. All right, so it's booted. So let's see if I can log in and see if everything seems to be running normally. All right, it's booted up. That's fine. It could not connect all the reconnect all the drives because file station or file server 1 has not been moved. So let's go ahead and do the same thing to this. We'll change this and move that to, we'll move that storage to ZFS pool. We got two of them moving a disk now, so that ought to put it under a heck of a load. We'll just let those run. Come back to here. And this one should be up and running. Okay, so we'll let the other two move their disks, and then we'll come back and do a little housekeeping. So I don't know that this is going to work while the virtual machine is running, but I'm going to go ahead and attempt to remove these disks. Yeah, remove. Okay. Yes. And it might, it looks like it's trying to do it. Normally I would shut down a virtual machine, but these disks are not attached, so there we go. Click on remove on that one. It's gone. And it should not have affected the virtual machine at all. Should be still running okay. Yeah, there we go. Good. Okay, same way with this one. Once it boots up and we verify we can log in, we can go. It's got the wrong login statement. I'm working on that. That's why it's fundamental to set up a lab environment. Even though I've changed that message of the day, it keeps coming up. So I don't know whether the domain controller just didn't get the policy update or what, but it's on my to-do list. So we'll let that run. And then this one, I already, yeah, I'm still moving the disk on it. So let's make sure we can log into this one, and then we can delete the disks we don't need anymore. Okay, good. That appears to be coming up okay. Now it's going to give us an error probably about connecting the drive. But we should be able to go out here now and remove these unneeded disks or unused disks. Boy, my NAS is going to be confused. This is on the Synology Flash Station 1018. It's be like either create a disk or delete a disk, or create a disk or delete a disk. And now you can see both volumes. The IDE 0 is on NVMe 2-2, and the EFI disk is over there as well. And I should have the desktop still available. All right, so we'll let this one finish moving storage, which is what it's doing right now, and then we'll come back. All right, so it looks like we've got the storage moved on both of these virtual machines. I'm going to remove an IDE drive, though, one of the CD-ROMs, and take the media out of that one. All right, let's see if it'll boot up now. Oh, you just gotta love Proxmox, don't you? Dare I say it's really won a place in my heart these days. I just love Proxmox. It just works. It's gotten to the point now where I want to put Proxmox on everything and then run everything as a virtual machine on top of Proxmox. I know it's not very practical. Maybe it is. All right, so this one booted right up. So let's see if we can log in. And it sees that we're on the right network, because this is the file server. So without this one being up, it won't see any file sharing available. So let's go back to the domain controller. And we should now have connectivity. There it is, with the shares. Good. So that was successful, the move. And we should be able to come out here now and get rid of these unused disks. It's nice when something works. It's been a good, and oddly enough, I'm doing this on a Monday. It's been a very successful Monday so far. I better not jinx myself. I'll delete the wrong drive and then cry like a baby. Well, there you go. No, it's a working. All right, so yeah, success. So there you go. Things didn't turn out as bad as they possibly could have, and that's only through pure dumb luck. Now it has required me to learn some new skills. And as I learn new skills, I like to share that with other people. And this super epic server, you know, I regretted initially spending the money on it that I had to, but I'm glad I did because it's been a big learning process for me. And through the special thanks to people like Sakura who helped me wrap my, and David G and all the others of you out there that have helped me hone my Linux skills and my Proxmox skills. Thanks for your guidance and your help because it's been a fun experience learning it. And look how many videos I've done on this one super epic server now, and this is not the end of them. Now that I've got some more power, I'll use it wisely. I promise. Or I promise. Yeah. Probably not. No, I won't use it wisely. I'll use it for something totally crazy. But one thing you can look forward to is more videos where Proxmox is the main character in the plot. I told you a year ago, Proxmox all the things, right? It was told to me by a wise man named Sakura. He said, you're going to Proxmox all the things. And sometimes, because I have no life, I go to bed and I dream about new ways to put Proxmox to use. And as I learn new things, I like to share it with you. So hopefully you found this video entertaining and informative. Please smash that like button on your way out of here, on your way out the door. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click that little notification bell to be notified of new videos when they come out. Donate if you're so inclined. PayPal, Patreon, YouTube join function. You want to send me something, reach out to me, unclejoesplayhouse@gmail.com, and I'll let you know whether it's okay to send something, okay? I don't want to be if it's not useful or I can't do some content on it, I really don't have a need for it, but thank you anyway. Thanks again to all of you who have supported this channel for all these years. Please don't forget, come back and see us. Don't forget, we'll see all of you on the other side.
I've been watching old Unky Joe. From Texas heat to where the cacti grow. Fixing server, solar power in the land. Hoping that his plans all stand. Making life a touch more bright underneath those southern lights.